Today, we are diving into one of the most unbelievable stories in the history of science. It's the story of Srinivasa Ramanujan, a self-taught mathematical genius who came from nothing in India to completely revolutionize the world of numbers forever. So I want you to just think about this for a second. What if the most brilliant mind of an entire generation, a mind that could see things nobody else could, grew up almost totally on its own, with no access to fancy universities or the world's best libraries? Well, that's pretty much the story of Ramanujan.
So our story kicks us in Kumbakonam, a small town in southern India. This is where Ramanujan grew up, and it's where the first hints of his incredible, almost otherworldly talent started to show.
Yeah, this timeline, it just shows you the insane paradox of his youth. By age 11, he'd already blown past the math knowledge of two college students who were lodging at his house. At 13, he was mastering advanced trigonometry all by himself. But then, look at age 16. He failed his college exams. Why? Because he was so obsessed with math, he just ignored every other subject and he lost his scholarship because of it. He was a pure genius who just didn't fit into the neat little box of formal education. And you have to understand, he wasn't doing this groundbreaking research in some comfy office. No, he was doing it while living in extreme poverty, working as a clerk, often literally starving. It makes what he accomplished not just brilliant, but honestly, almost miraculous.
Ramanujan knew his work was important. He knew he was onto something huge, but nobody around him could really grasp what he was doing. So he knew he had to reach out, all the way to the heart of the mathematical universe at the time, Cambridge, England.
But, it wasn't easy. His first tries were basically shut down. One professor noted his taste for math, but dismissed him for not having the right training. Two others just sent his papers back without even a comment. Can you imagine the frustration? Knowing you found gold, but no one will even bother to look? And then, he wrote to a man named G.H. Hardy. Okay, so take a look at this. This is one of the formulas from that letter. Now, to most of us, this looks like complete nonsense, right? But to a world-class mathematician like Hardy, this was like getting a message from an alien civilization. Formulas for pi that looked like this were just unheard of. And they were just there on the page with no explanation, no proofs. And this was Hardy's incredible reaction after he and his colleague Littlewood spent hours poring over the letter. These formulas were so wild, so original, so utterly beautiful that they just couldn't be fake. Hardy knew they had to be the work of a genius of the absolute highest caliber. So Hardy arranges for Ramanujan to come to Cambridge, and this kicks off one of the most amazing and frankly unlikely collaborations in the entire history of science. But this wasn't just a meeting of two brilliant minds. It was a complete clash of worlds. I mean, just look at the difference between them. On one side, you have Ramanujan. He's a devout Hindu who literally said his family goddess put equations into his dreams. He ran on pure, breathtaking intuition. And on the other side, you have Hardy, a firm atheist who was the high priest of mathematical proof. For him, an idea was worthless without a rigorous step-by-step logical proof. But somehow, their partnership became this perfect fusion. Ramanujan's raw, untamed genius would come up with these revolutionary ideas, and Hardy's discipline would give them the structure to prove them and share them with the world. And despite being polar opposites, Ramanujan's genius was simply undeniable. In just a handful of years in England, he collected the highest honors the British academic world could give. He became one of the youngest fellows of the Royal Society ever, and the very first Indian to be elected a fellow of Trinity College. He had finally found his stage. But this incredible triumph came at a terrible price. Ramanujan was a strict vegetarian, and trying to stick to that diet in England during World War I, with all the food shortages and rationing, it was almost impossible. On top of that, you had the cold, damp weather he wasn't used to, and an illness that doctors tragically misdiagnosed. His health just started to collapse. But even through all this hardship, there's this one simple story that just perfectly captures the way Ramanujan saw the world. It shows you that, for him, numbers weren't just symbols. They were alive. They were like friends. So, what do you see when you look at this number? 1729. To most of us, it's just a number, right? Nothing special about it. Well, that's what Hardy thought too. The story goes, Hardy went to visit Ramanujan in the hospital and said his taxi number, 1729, seemed like a pretty dull number. And Ramanujan, from his sickbed, without missing a beat, replies, "No, it is a very interesting number." He then explains this incredible mathematical property about it. Just think about that for a second. The instant, effortless recognition of something so deep in a number that looked totally random. And here's what he meant. 1 cubed plus 12 cubed equals 1729. Okay, but also 9 cubed plus 10 cubed also equals 1729. And it's the smallest number you can do that with. It just goes to show you, his mind was wired completely differently from pretty much everyone else's. Tragically, his health just kept getting worse. Ramanujan returned to India in 1919 and died only a year later. He was just 32 years old. But what he left behind was a treasure chest, notebooks just crammed with theorems that mathematicians would spend the next 100 years trying to figure out. He left behind almost 4,000 results. 4,000! Most of them he'd come up with completely alone in India, with little or no proof written down. He basically left behind a map to whole new continents of mathematics, a legacy we are still exploring today. And this isn't just a fun history lesson. His work is still alive and kicking. His formulas for partitions gave rise to a whole new technique in math. The Mach theta functions he wrote about in his last letters were a total mystery for decades, but now they're critical in everything from number theory to physics. His incredibly beautiful series for pi, well, they're the foundation for the fastest algorithms our computers use today. His work was so deep it even helped prove age-old problems like Fermat's last theorem. He wasn't just ahead of his time, he was in a different time altogether.
So where does he really stand among the all-time greats? Well, maybe the best person to answer that is his own mentor, G.H. Hardy. Hardy, himself one of the greatest mathematicians of his day, came up with this scale. He rated himself a 25. His brilliant collaborator, Littlewood, a 30. The legendary David Hilbert gets an 80, and Ramanujan, a perfect 100, for pure, God-given talent.
And that brings us right back to where we started, and it leaves us with this one last thought. Ramanujan's story is incredible. It's tragic, it's beautiful, it's inspiring. But it also makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other people are out there, right now, with notebooks full of impossible, brilliant ideas, just waiting, just hoping that someone will open their letter?